Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Sri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Hiti Namine Prema Bhakti Rasanandam Kripa Sindhum Maninam Pragapayandam Vande Sri Bhakti Vedanta Narayanam. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvasesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatadine. So today we are continuing the readings of Sri Brahma Samhita from chapter 5, verse 32. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sarujvala Vigrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship that original personality, Sri Govinda. His divine form is composed of eternity, cognizance, and bliss, and is therefore exceptionally effulgent. Each and every limb or sense of his transcendental body is inherently endowed with all the functions of the other senses, He eternally sees, maintains, and regulates an infinite number of universes, both spiritual and mundane. Translation of Tika by Srila Jiva Goswami. Brahmaji has described both types of Leela of Govinda, the original personality. Now, in 4 verses, beginning with the verse Angani Yasya, he will explain the influence of Sri Krishna's inconceivable potency. His hands and feet also have the power to see, while his eyes, besides having the capacity to see, can also perform all other functions, such as protecting, nourishing, and so on. Similarly, each one of his other senses is capable of performing the activities of all the other senses. Therefore, it is stated in Shruti, Sarvata Panipadam Tat Sarvatokshishiro Mukam. His hands and feet are everywhere, and his eyes, heads, and mouths are on all sides. The word Jaganti indicates that he manifests his own Swarup among his pastime associates simultaneously according to their individual bhavas, and that he personally tastes the miraculous ras of those associates through his own limbs and senses. All this can only be accomplished through the unique influence of his divine transcendental form. So we will continue to hear the Tatparya of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. There's a lot to unpack here. There are defects of the conditioned souls. For example, Vijatiya Bhed, Swagata Bhed. These do not exist in Sri Krishna. Our senses are limited in terms of what they can perform. Our eyes can only see, our tongue can only taste, our voice can only speak, our hands can only do work. But Krishna's senses are not at all limited. With his eyes he can maintain, with his hands he can see, with his feet he can also taste. With his ears he can taste. So when we are offering bhog to Shri Shri Radha Krishna Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they can taste with their ears. There is no limitation. So this is kind of the basic tattva. Let us go on in here. The Tatparya of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. There is an abysmal doubt in the minds of persons who are completely bound in mundane knowledge due to having no experience of transcendental ras. This is a very, very important statement, and we're going to follow this and try to understand it in detail. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving us very concise and very deep statements here, and we'll try to unpack these a little bit. Such persons, now this is referring to those who are bound in mundane knowledge, they have no experience of rasa. They think that the scholars of ancient times have concocted the fundamental reality of Krishna, or Krishna Tattva, by the power of their imagination, based on their experience of the mundane world. So, nowadays there is this trend that, we want to get the rubber stamp of scholars. We want to please the scholars of Indology, the scholars of Eastern studies, and let us impress them. We will make edits to the books of Guru Maharaj so that they will get better approval from the scholars. But the thing is, although scholars, it is okay, and if they give approval, it is good, if they give recommendations. But this is kind of like if there is an ant and the ant says, look, I have come across this Eiffel Tower. I highly recommend it. It's a great structure. It's so well architected. By my little ant brain reckoning, I think that this is amazing because I can climb on it. I can climb all the way to the top and then I can see Paris. This is the reckoning of the ant. There is no concept of ras. And Sri Krishna is Purna Tattva. I know we've said this before, and it is worth repeating again, because Krishna is the supreme, complete reality. You cannot understand Krishna by putting together pieces. So nowadays there is this tendency of people will try to concoct questions that they think are going to be gotchas and point out what they think are defects in Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta based on some LLM, or AI as many of you call it. And this is completely the wrong approach, because our Gaudiya Vaishnava Tattva Siddhanta is partly evidential and it is partly experiential. Meaning, if you do not follow in the anugatya of a Mahabhagavat, of a great devotee, you must follow and you must have kripa. Tarko pratishta shrutayo vibhinna nasaurashir yasya matam nabhinnam dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yenagata sapanta. First of all, this is said in Mahabharata, one should follow the path of Mahajans, because the truth of Dharma, and this is even referring to all other types of Dharma, this is actually hidden within the hearts of Mahajans. Even Dharma, even concepts like Varnashram Dharma, now many people are going around asking, let's make Varnashram Dharma. Why are we talking about making Varnashram Dharma? Guru Maharaj wanted us to be pure devotees, and he said if he had disciples who were pure devotees, he could conquer the entire world in 18 days. That is really the thing that we should be focused on. So the concept of, even to know Dharma, one must follow the path of the Mahajans. But even more than that, in the Upanishads it is said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Yam evaisha vivrinute tanum swam. That the Supreme Personality is beyond the realm of arguments and logic and mundane scholarship. Only that person to whom the Supreme has given his mercy, then they will get the illumination from within. So this is such a very important concept, and this is what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is referring to. So people say, oh, look, we have seen, oh, this was made up. There were people in the Bhagavata school who invented this new thing, and they came up with this new idea of Krishna and so forth. But to dispel this doubt, which originates from the platform of material attachment and offenses, Brahmaji has clearly shown the difference, according to philosophical principles, between the conscious spiritual substance, chit, and the unconscious material substance, achit. So this is a very, very important point. If we are using our intellect and scholarship and reading commentaries, many different commentaries, this is actually not going to illuminate the transcendental subject matter in the transcendental realm, because the transcendental subject is all about rasa. As Srila Jiva Goswami stated in his Tika, that this Sri Krishna is enjoying rasa with his associates, and raso vaisaha. This is the reality that we want to delve into. But to enter into the realm of rasa, we have to become transcendental. We have to purify the heart. We have to first develop our seva vritti. We have instead been cultivating our bhoga vritti, which makes us more entangled in matter. Instead, we want to cultivate a taste for hearing Harikatha, for associating with pure Vaishnavas, for chanting Harinam, for following all of the angas of bhakti. Mahaprabhu has said, Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtan Bhagavata Shravana Mathuravasa Sri Murtir Shraddhaya Sevan. Primarily, there are 5 angas of bhakti that are very important, and the first among those is sadhu sangha, association of pure devotees. And nama kirtan, to do kirtan of names, like we sing, Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva. There is so much rasa in these names, but it doesn't penetrate. Our hearts are covered with stone-like layers of aparad, of attachment to sense enjoyment. It is said that one of the aparads against Harinam is to maintain our mundane attachments despite hearing so many things. So the problem is that if we are using our intelligence, then we're using that which is a worldly thing to try to understand that which is completely of the realm of transcendence. And this is not possible. So there is a difference between the chit and achit. And we are trying to use achit, the unconscious energy of this mundane realm, to understand chit. It is not possible. In this verse and the following 3 consecutive verses, Brahmaji has made a diligent endeavor to make us understand that the pastimes of Sri Krishna are not the imagination of a fertile mind, but rather they are experienced in the stage of pure trance that is beyond the reach of the material mental faculty. Here, the intention of Brahmaji is to establish that the transcendental form of Sri Krishna is composed of eternal existence, knowledge, and bliss, whereas all the phenomena of the material world are inanimate and composed of ignorance. So this is very, very important. Going back to the first verse of this fifth chapter of Sri Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. So Krishna's transcendental form is Satchidananda. It is composed of Sat, eternal existence, knowledge, Chit, and Ananda, or bliss. But all the phenomena of this world are inanimate and composed of ignorance. So this is the nature of the material energy. It is composed of ignorance. What is the ignorance? It is ignorance of our sambandh, ignorance of our position as the eternal servant of the Supreme Person. Jiver Swarupai Krishna Nityadas. This Krishna Nityadas is not referring to Dasya Ras. It is referring to we are owned, we are the subordinate eternally, and our business is to give pleasure to the Supreme Master, the Paramapurush Sri Krishna. And all of these so-called intellectual arguments, they are all simply rebelling and rejecting and saying, oh, look, I have found a loophole by which I can not believe and I will not serve. I will not serve. I will not give pleasure to Krishna. Because this exchange of giving pleasure to Krishna, this is an exchange of love. This is true love. And our goal is to come to that platform of love, of prem. So, Adav Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sango Atabhajana Kriya Tato Narta Nivritti Syat Tato Nishta Ruchistada Tata Sakti Stato Bhava Tata Prem Abhyudanshati Sadhakanam Ayam Premna Pradurbhavet Bhavet Kramaha. Everything is about achieving prem. But in this life, in this body, in the mundane body, we can only come as far as rati, the bhav, the stage which is called premankura, the sprout of prem. Only in the spiritual world, when we can take birth in prakat lila, and then take part in pastimes under the guidance of Nitya Siddha Parikars, only then we can actually experience prem, because prem cannot be contained within this body. So, resuming, despite these two referring to the chit and achit, so the phenomena of the material world, including our mind, senses, and ego, all made of ignorance. They have no trace of sambandh in them. The spiritual affair is factually the original root principle, and therefore variety and specific distinctions must necessarily exist there eternally. Thus, it is confirmed that Krishna's form, name, qualities, abode, and pastimes are transcendental, and only those whose consciousness is pure and free from all connections with mundane delusion are eligible to taste such pastimes. So, this is the original root principle. The actual reality is spiritual existence, the spiritual affair. What does that mean? It means having a relationship with Sri Krishna and in exchange of ras. Even those who are in Vaikuntha, the Vaikuntha Vasis, they are also exchanging ras, but their exchange is Shanta ras. O Bhagavan Vishnu, you are great. Narayana, you are the Lord. You are all-pervading. You are all-powerful. You are amazing. This is Shantaras. My Lord is so great. My Lord does not require my service because he is so great. But everything is my Prabhu, Vaikuntapati Narayana. So this is Shantaras. But we are interested in the realm of Goloka Vrindavan, in which there is no Shantaras, there is not even any pure Dasyaras. So, the original root principle is spiritual existence and exchange of ras. Thus, it is confirmed that Krishna's form, name, qualities, abode, and pastimes are transcendental, and only those whose consciousness is pure and free from all connections with mundane delusion are eligible to taste such pastimes. Now, there is another misconception some people have, which is, oh, we must become very pure by, we will do austerities, we will practice very pure, we will only eat very purely, we will talk very purely, and eventually we will become more and more pure, and then rasa will automatically be revealed to us. No, it does not work this way. Sevonmukhe hi jivadav swayam eva spurati adaha ataha Sri Krishna namadi nabhavid grahyam indriyai sevonmukhe hi jivadav swayam eva spurati adaha. When it says sevonmukhe hi jivadav, it means that we are serving with the tongue, and we are not just chanting names, but we are chanting names that have ras in them, that are specifically connected to pastimes. In our Gaudiya line, Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Yakalpita. That is the reality of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy. That it is that which was done by the gopis. There is no more pleasing way of serving Sri Krishna. So, the idea that, oh, let me become very pure by tapasya, which is kind of like what the Shankarites do, the followers of Shankaracharya. They want to take sannyas and practice austerities and become very pure and chant mantras that will cleanse and eventually achieve Sayujya Mukti and realize oneness. We are not at all even slightly on this path. Sevon mukhe hi jivado. We will take the service path. How I can serve, and I can serve with love. This is the path of bhakti. The Shankarites even will practice bhakti, but bhakti is practiced using the forms of bhakti as a means to attain the goal of Sayujya Mukti. We completely reject this. This is not our path. We want to follow Vrajalokānusārataha, follow in the footsteps of the eternal associates in Vraj. All of the following are comprised of the transcendental substance. 1. Sri Krishna's personal form. 2. The spiritual realm. And 3. The arena of pastimes, which is made of transcendental wish-fulfilling gems, and which is illuminated by the spiritual potency. Just as the illusory potency is the shadow of the transcendental potency, similarly, the fascinating variety generated through the inert material energy is also nothing but the crude reflection or shadow of the fascinating variety that is manifest in the transcendental realm. It is for this reason that all types of material phenomena are dull and composed of the mode of darkness. So this concept of the shadow, this is very, very important, the shadow or chaya. So in the spiritual world there is unlimited variety, and the shadow of the chit potency is the material energy. And the material energy, as the shadow of the chit potency, also generates So many fascinating varieties. Oh, this is very fascinating. That is very fascinating. I'm going to scroll down on my phone and, oh, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Oh my God, we are so caught up in all of these things, but this is a product of ignorance. Take ignorance and put it together, and we make a sandwich out of ignorance. And then we taste this ignorant sandwich and we say, oh, very tasty, very tasty. But it is actually just all crap. And what we want to taste is we want to taste spiritual variety. So in our stage, in the beginning stage of bhajan, we are practicing, and the names of Krishna do not taste sweet to us. We do not taste all the ras. So we practice, and by practicing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, gradually the disease of ignorance becomes destroyed, and then gradually a taste awakens. And this will show the cure of the disease, just as someone is eating sugar candy as a cure for jaundice, and eventually the sugar candy no longer tastes bitter, it begins to taste sweet. In conclusion, the spiritual world is the substance, and the material world is its insubstantial shadow. The varieties experienced in the material world allude to the appearance of the variety that exists eternally in the transcendental world. Although there seems to be a similarity between the diversity found in both realms, they are categorically distinct from each other. So this is a very important paragraph here. So the spiritual world is the substance. This is the true reality. The material world is a shadow. And we experience so many varieties, and they may appear to be similar. Like, for example, Krishna is dancing with the gopis, and someone says, oh yes, I know, a young man wants to dance with many very beautiful young women. Oh, I know about this. It is the subject of different movies and so forth. But no, it actually has nothing to do. It is the topmost devotees of Sri Krishna who are giving pleasure to him and exchanging ras on the highest level, and they are actually captivating him. Krishna says, Napadayeham niravadya samyujam Swasadu krityam vidvudhayushapinaha sambrishya tad durjaya geha shrinkala. Krishna is telling the gopis, I could not repay my debt to you even with a lifetime like that of Brahmaji. Krishna, the person who is capable of anything, he is saying, I cannot. I am indebted to you. The gopis have captivated Krishna because there are 6 qualities of bhakti, and the final 2 are Sandrananda Visheshatma, Sri Krishna Karshini. It is able to attract the heart of Sri Krishna. So this is the goal of actual bhakti, is to have such intense love for Krishna that Krishna wants to come and taste. So there's a categorical difference between the variety of this world and the variety of the spiritual world. And when we think we can make logical analysis and comparison and understand the spiritual world, we are like trying to put together blocks of ignorance to understand light. You cannot put together blocks of darkness to understand light. You can only light can understand light. Lifelessness is the defect of the dull material realm, where everything comes into existence, develops, and produces byproducts, and is finally destroyed. Thus, even the apparent happiness of this world is temporary and full of distress. However, the transcendental world has no such defects. So the Kumaras in Srimad Bhagavatam say, Hladini sandhini samvit tvayika sarva samstato, Hladatapakari mishra tvayino gunavarjite. In you rest Hladini, Sandhini, and Samvit. These three things: the pleasure-giving potency, the existential potency, and the knowledge potency. In this material world, there is always ignorance, and therefore even the enjoyment is mixed with pain. So there is no such defect in the transcendental world. The wonderful varieties of that realm are pure, conscious, eternal, and completely devoid of any material defect. There is no difference between Krishna and his body, whereas the body of the conditioned soul in this world is different from his Atma, for they are entirely separate substances. In the spiritual Swarup, there is no difference between the body and the embodied, the individual limb and the entire body, the nature and the possessor of that nature. However, in conditioned souls, all these aspects are totally distinct. I think this is very clear. It is in the spiritual world, in this material world, I am not the same as this body. Oh, I have the body of a man. I have body of a woman. I can have so many different types of bodies, but the Atma is distinct. In the spiritual world, the Swarup is the manifestation of the Atma. There is no difference between the Swarup, the form, and the self. So in conditioned souls, all these aspects are totally distinct. Although Krishna is the possessor and source of his limbs, each and every limb is fully Krishna himself, because all of his transcendental functions are included in any particular limb. And this is recapping what this verse has said, Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti. Therefore, he is the indivisible, complete, and perfect transcendental principle. The individual living entity and Krishna are the same in that they are both inherently conscious. The difference between them is that the aggregate of all divine qualities is eternally present in the living entity only to a minute extent, whereas those divine attributes are present in Krishna to the full extent. Even when the jiva attains his pure constitutional form, those qualities will only be manifest to a minute degree in his pure swarup. So this is the quantitative difference between the Jivatma and Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna is the unlimited person, and the jiva, even in the liberated state, even in swarup, is still has the minute quantity, but has these qualities, divine qualities. When by Krishna's mercy the potencies of cognizance and pleasure, chit and hladini, gradually make their appearance in the heart of the jiva, he attains a perfect state similar to that of the Supreme Personality. So this mixing of Chit Shakti and Hladini Shakti, or Samvit Shakti, Hladini Shakti, this is also called Vishuddha Sattva. And when this Vishuddha Sattva descends from the spiritual world and enters the heart of the sadhaka, this stage is now called Jata Rati Sadhana. Rati has now awakened. And now, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that one attains a perfect state. One does not fall from this stage of Rati. One may argue, oh, what about Bharat Maharaj? But this was shown, it was only arranged by Yogamaya, and it was to show that we should not be too attached to anything in this world, any worldly thing. So many things were done, but it was Bharat Maharaj was simply used as the example, but he was a bhavuk bhakta. He was on the stage of rati, and therefore there could be no fall other than it was a temporary thing just to give example and instruction and caution to those sadhakas who are on the path of bhakti. Still, some special qualities remain unique to Sri Krishna Chandra, and he is therefore the worshipable deity for everyone. The four qualities that are only found in Krishna are the unparalleled sweetness of his form, Rupa Madhuri, qualities, Guna Madhuri, flute song, Venu Madhuri, and pastimes, Leela Madhuri. These four unique personal characteristics pertain exclusively to Sri Krishna and are not to be found even in Narayan, the Lord of Paravyom, in the Purusha avatar Karanodakashayi Mahavishnu, or in any other expansion of Bhagavan. If these qualities are not present even in demigods such as Mahadev, how will it be possible for any ordinary jiva to possess them? Again, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving a further logic to help us understand this concept. So these four. Now, Srila Rupa Goswami has begun Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu with this verse. Siddhanta tastva bhedepi Shrisha Krishna Swarupayoho. According to Siddhant, there is no difference between the identity of Narayan, the Lord of Vaikuntha, and Sri Krishna. But rasenot krishyate, there is a superiority of ras, and specifically it is these four divine qualities of Sri Krishna which are not found even in the Lord of Vaikuntha, Narayan. So that is the end of today. Next week we'll be back to the regular scheduled time. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.